Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's video. I'm so excited about today's idea and concept, and I'm really looking forward to bringing it all to you. So basically I've got these two really bright, really decadent palettes. So all my purples there and all these colors here. So what I plan to do today is show you how to take these beautiful colorful palettes that may scare some people and still get this beautiful, still very colorful but neutral look. So of course, to start with, we absolutely need our Savvy Mineral Spray. We need to give the skin a beautiful prime, and this is my primer of choice, so we're just going to do all that. Use your hands or a sponge to work it in. I of course have a beautiful moisturizer and all that beautiful thing on my skin. My skin is very well looked after today, and that's just to give the makeup something to cling to. So for our base, we're going to give a very nice dusting of the Savvy Minerals foundation. I'm just going to use a sponge like this because I did a glam look recently doing it with this method, and it was just amazing for longevity, and it really sunk into the skin really well. So I really like the control I get with a tool like this, but kabuki brushes are just as great. There it is, the beautiful base. I'm going for a lighter look today, so I've only got one layer on, and what I've done is I've taken a brush like this with the tiniest amount of misting spray on, dipped into the powder very lightly. I've just gone over any trouble spots that I'd like to conceal and done that. And anywhere where I'd like to highlight or I'd like a little bit more color reflection, a bit more brightness, same sort of sponge but just a second layer, but really pressing it in, concentrating it and really working it into the skin. So anything that you'd like to cover is indeed nice and covered and bright and just glowing. A lot of the glow that happens with natural makeup, aside from the beautiful ingredients, will happen from the canvas itself. So I of course have this gorgeous dry skin serum on my skin because my skin is always thirsty. If you have a oily skin, there are definitely lots of hints and tips that will work for your skin, even using oils, because there are heavy oils and there are lighter oils, and there's a beautiful resources that you can get in touch with me if you'd like me to connect you, because seriously, ever since I started using these products, it has been an absolute game changer for me, and I couldn't be happier to share it with anybody. All right, next is the obvious. We're going to go for the beautiful brow product for the multitasker. Now, if you've seen my videos before, you'll see that this is not just a brow product. This is my anything dark that goes on the face product. So got the tiniest amount on there, just basically what comes off on the lid when you open it up. We're going to do the brows. Your brows are filled, and you can use a tool like this to brush them out, or a spoolie much like the one you get in a mascara tube, something like that. So next I'm going to get a detailed face brush. Now I haven't shown you this technique before. If you've seen my other video using the multitasker, this is amazing for applying highlight or anything that you really need to dig in and get the details for, or if you want to really diffuse eyeshadow, also a really good tool. I'm going to go in with the lightest, tiniest amount, just barely dirtying the brush. And I'm just going to go through and do all the shadows of my face. Okay, now it looks a mess at the moment, and you know what, all contour always does to begin with, but in the finished product, it'll be a fantastic undershadow for our finished look. With this application, the faster or the larger your bristle movements are, the more diffuse and less concentrated the look will be. Obviously, the slower and more sort of heavy-handed you are, the harsher and the more thick your color is going to be. Okay, so let's finish the face off now and then move on to the eyes. So back to this guy and finishing everything off. So there it is. So I've used a much less glittery bronzer for the contour around the face, so a bit more warmer than the multitasker, but you most certainly can use a multitasker around the face too. And then you saw all the highlights using the foundation and a bit of a glowy beaded bronzer for the cheeks today, just to keep it natural, keep the tones very, very warm, but very, very light. So the challenge of the day, how are we going to take these two unbelievably gorgeous, bright palettes that definitely do have neutral colors, but they're all very brightly toned. So the purple palette, especially, every single color there has a shift towards the amethyst, towards the purple lavender kind of tones. And the beautiful Joshua Tree palette has these warm, juicy colors, which, looking at them in the palette, screams 90s or 70s or something very bright era to me. But they can be manipulated to be very, very just warm, beautiful, neutral, feminine, and that's all there is. Okay, we're going to start with a beautiful light tone called Crown Chakra. And I am going very light-handedly as well. You can get way more color out of these shadows than what I'm getting, but I'm going very, very light-handedly, just a very light dip. And as always, I'm going to go right into the crease, but into the crease. Don't go too crazy this time, just creating a shadow. So we're going to stop there. We're not going to go too high up, just a little bit higher than the crease, just to reduce any hooding. So there's still a beautiful shadow when the face is relaxed or, you know, grumpy. And we're going to introduce a new color on a beautiful fluffy brush now. Something like this is really great. And we're going to go in with another sort of pinky purpley color called Scented. So you see how that's got that sort of fawny shift to it. But again, very light application. You can see how pink toned it is on the brush there. Okay, and we're just going to smooth out the edge of that crease application with this. Because these colors are so amazing, that's all it takes. This is a really great technique if you have uneven hooding or uneven eyelids. It just gives the optical illusion that they're a bit more even if you apply them using visual feedbacks rather than worrying about where you're applying them. So I never use sort of geographical markers on my eyes to figure out where to put the eyeshadow. I actually just compare it, like almost like copying a picture. You don't worry about where you are on the page, you just worry about it looking the same. So that's what I've done here as well. So what I'll find is I'll have a bit more of a crease application here than there, and that's just about how the skin and bone and all that sort of thing is positioned in my face. Okay, so two very, very purple or fawny toned colors. So how are we going to bring it back from the purple more into the warm, beautiful, neutral tones that I spoke of? So tricky. It's about how you combine the colors. If you take a really, really purpley pink toned item and eyeshadow and blend it or put it next to something really, really orangey, you actually end up somewhere in the middle, which is our neutral tone. So I'm going to take a beautiful flat brush next, and we're going to go in with a very mustardy color, which is really warm and really gorgeous yellow. Look at that. Such a beautiful, beautiful color. Very perfect for autumn or spring, or, you know, maybe even mixed together with some other beautiful colors for a summer's day, that kind of thing. But with my very neutral outfit and my very neutral look, this is going to go really well. Taking some of that pink out of it. So just applying it through the outer V. So there goes. You saw I didn't really swipe at all. I more placed the shadow on, and it behaves so nicely, especially that my eyes are primed with the misting spray. You can use a primer, you don't need to for these beautiful products. You just need to have a nice soft lid ready to receive these beautiful products. I've got one darker shade, which is the Tumbleweed, very similar to the Poppy, but it's got a lot more of a kind of brown tone there. So a bit like a cinnamon bark or something like that. It's just a beautiful brown, very, very warm, has that yellow kind of thing about it, but that's all it is. And we're just going to blend the purpley tones with the yellow tones using this very browny tone. And it's a gorgeous color to use to create a very subtle elongation without going for the blacks and dark browns and dark colors. Very, very subtle, very, very light, very feminine. Definitely leaning towards the neutral now, and all we've done is applied, what, 4 colors, and none of them have actually been that neutral except for the Tumbleweed, which is neutral-ish. I've got this gorgeous color down the bottom, Protection, and I'm going to actually use my finger to apply it to the very center of my lid, just like that. It just gives that glow without actually really going to bronze. Because I've got that yellow, it's kind of making the bronze less crazy, but it's still giving me that beautiful shimmer. The other thing I should mention is the Amethyst palette has a lot of shimmer tones and glitter tones and duochromes. The Joshua Tree is all mattes, beautiful, juicy, buttery, but all mattes. So while I've got that beautiful poppy on my brush, I'm going to go in with a tiny bit of protection, which was the color we just put on the center. So I've just blended them on the brush there very lightly. I'm just going to go on the bottom lashes. Very pretty. Gives that golden finish. So the combining the purpley, gorgeous bronzy one with the yellowy one gives us this golden neutral tone. The Joshua Tree palette has this amazing color called Pixie Rock. So gorgeous, kind of creamy, but when you put it to a cream, it's kind of peachy. When you put it to a peach, it's kind of creamy again, almost like an eggshell. And I'm going to, again, using my fingers, I'm going to put it in there, in a corner. I'm going to use a brush with the Pixie Rock and just smooth out the edges. Using the same brush, I'm going to dip back into Mystic, which is my absolute most favorite, most beautiful color I've ever come across ever in anything. It's gorgeous, it's shimmery, it follows the same kind of idea as the Pixie Rock, but you can see it's kind of goes towards the purple there. It's really amazing. It's glittery for days. I'm using the tiniest little amount on the tip of my brush and right in the corner just to give it a bit of a glow. That's all it is, and just to really brighten up that eye. Even though it does have a little bit of a purple shift on top of that peachy, beautiful, warm toned nude that we just put on, it's really speaking to me more as a cream. A little bit of that brush again, didn't have to dip back in or anything, just in the center of the brow and draw it out. And there's the brows done as well. How amazing are these colors all together? These two palettes really are for two very different users. I mean, you've got the greens and the yellows and really bright, happy, fun colors on this side. Then you've got these purple, serious, moody tones on this palette. But then together, they've come just beautifully to play on this gorgeous, very, very feminine. We still definitely have that pink-esque undertone, but it's a neutral look. And if you didn't know that it was coming out of a purple intended palette, you would never know this was a purple look. Okay, so I'm going to go away and put a little bit of lashes on, a bit of mascara, and I'll think about maybe doing a navy or a grey, probably a charcoal. There it is, beautiful charcoal pencil to finish, keeping things in the neutral family, and I'll be right back. So what do you think of the finished look? It's just a very, very fine line of a grey pencil. That's all it is. And because I'm crazy and I can't resist, I'm going to go back into our beautiful Mystique and highlight just through the very top of the cheekbone, because it just gives it that something extra, that little bit of a kiss of light that really, really enhances that bone and really, really adds character to the face. So I'm really excited about my beautiful look. So now with a bit of lippy on as well, what do you think of today's look? Are you going to try and go ahead for a bit of a brighter palette, even though you're a neutral girl? You know, I think go for it. You can definitely manipulate colors to do whatever you want them to do with the right combination. I'm loving this. And I really do enjoy having a bit more of a neutral, a bit more of a natural, a little more subdued look time to time, because I think it gets to a point that when you're wearing bright colors every day, it's almost like a go-to. It's almost your comfort zone just to go for the bright color and make it your statement. It is a little bit harder to make a statement when things are very, very soft and very, very girly, but I think that this has just got that something very pretty about it that makes it really, really stand out in its own way. For more looks and more everyday things, please head over to Instagram. Lots of stuff going on there. Please go ahead and follow if you haven't done so already, and many of you haven't. I've now learned how to read the stats, and I know that a lot of you are coming along, and I'm so happy you're coming along to enjoy the videos. But go ahead and subscribe, so that way YouTube's going to let you know when I upload on midweek and weekend with some tickle looks and some makeup looks. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you like this video. I'm so grateful you came along on this journey. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, and I'm just having an absolute blast. I hope that all of you are staying nice and safe out there, and it looks like things are settling down, and I hope that they are wherever you are around the world too. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you on the next one.